C2, Frage Nummer 3. Gibt es in deiner Gegend viele Probleme mit Umweltverschmutzung?
Achte hier auf
Subordinate clauses.
relative clauses.
Topic-specific vocabulary for the environment.
Hier sind einige Ideen.
Das größte Problem in meiner Gegend sind die Autos, die Tag und Nacht die Straßen blockieren. Deswegen gibt es ziemlich viel Luftverschmutzung.
In der Nähe gibt es ein Recyclingzentrum, wo man Glas, Papier und Plastik recyceln kann.
Um die Umwelt zu schützen, könnte man Energie sparen und Fahrrad fahren.
Wenn ich die Möglichkeit hätte, würde ich mehr Fahrradwege bauen und versuchen, den Müll immer zu trennen. Die ganzen Abfälle, die wir nicht richtig recyceln, schaden der Umwelt.
Ich finde das Problem der Plastikverpackung sehr schlecht.
Es wäre außerordentlich vorteilhaft für die Umwelt, wenn wir weniger Verpackung produzieren würden. So we had some nice subordinate clauses here. They were:
In der Nähe gibt es ein Recyclingzentrum, wo man Glas, Papier und Plastik recyceln kann. Es wäre außerordentlich vorteilhaft für die Umwelt, wenn wir weniger Verpackung produzieren würden.
So the key here is that wo and wenn send the verb to the end. It must be conjugated with the subject, so you can't just put it in the infinitive. Man goes with kann, so wo man Glas, Papier und Plastik recyceln kann. And wenn wir goes with würden, wenn wir weniger Verpackung produzieren würden. We also had relative clauses in this text. There were 3 of them. Let's have a look at those.
Das größte Problem in meiner Gegend sind die Autos, die Tag und Nacht die Straßen blockieren. Die ganzen Abfälle, die wir nicht richtig recyceln, schaden der Umwelt. Alles, was wir wegwerfen statt zu recyceln, schadet der Umwelt.
So the first 2 were from the text. The last one actually we added in to make a point. You can see that the word for who or which starts the second half of these sentences, is almost always the word for the. And it needs to be in the correct gender and case. So, die Autos, die Tag und Nacht die Straßen blockieren, the cars which block the streets day and night. And you'll see a word order change here as well. When you have a relative clause like this, we need the verb at the end. We've also got the second example here. It's very similar. Die ganzen Abfälle, die wir nicht richtig recyceln, schaden der Umwelt. It looks similar, it's just one small change, which you don't actually notice in this instance, but here the relative pronoun die is actually the object of the action that we are doing. So all the bits of waste that we don't recycle properly. So this die is actually in the accusative case. We don't see the change because feminine, there's no change between nominative and accusative. If we had chosen a masculine object here to be talking about, for example, der Müll, den wir nicht richtig recyceln, schadet der Umwelt. Then the last one was here for an example. This is pretty complicated, but would really impress the examiner, and I don't think it's beyond you guys to understand this. Whenever you use not a single noun, but either a process or a word which is general, like alles, everything, that's always going to be was, which follows that if you're using a relative pronoun. So, alles, was wir wegwerfen, statt zu recyceln, schadet der Umwelt. Or if you wanted just to tag on at the end, after, let's say, a verb phrase, ich recycle alles, was gut für die Umwelt ist. Because we're not talking about a single noun which has a gender and a case, we're just talking about a process, or a word like alles, we use was for the relative pronoun. There's also a lot of vocabulary which is in this topic which you really need to know, and it is quite commonly used in listening and reading comprehensions in your exam. So here they are. I'll talk through the meaning of each one after each word.
Die Luftverschmutzung,
So that's air pollution, Verschmutzung, pollution, and Luft is air.
Das Recyclingzentrum,
Self-explanatory, I hope.
recycle,
Just one note here, very difficult to spell. Have a good look at that. It's not like the English spelling. It's the last 4 letters are actually C-E-L-N.
die Umwelt zu schützen,
In order to protect the environment, that's a great sentence starter. So you can then put a flip-flop sentence on there, or make sure your verb comes second.
Energie sparen,
So sparen is to save. It could be money, could be Wasser, could be Energie, but that means to save, to preserve a resource, if you like.
den Müll trennen,
So trennen means to separate, and to separate your rubbish, i.e. to put things into the correct bins in your kitchen.
der Umwelt schaden,
Schaden means to damage, and this is slightly odd. It has a dative object afterwards, so to damage the environment, even though it's die Umwelt, it's actually going to be der Umweltschaden.
die Abfälle,
This is pieces of rubbish. Up means down or off, and Fälle means things that fell off, so I like to think of this as litter, because it's fallen out of your hand.
die Plastikverpackung,
This is almost always singular if we're talking about packaging. Verpackung is a package, and Plastik is, as it sounds, plastic. So try and work as many of those in, and try to make sure when you're doing your revision for listening and reading that you do look at the vocabulary very carefully for this section. It is extremely useful and extremely important in order for you to understand.